Mic test, mic test. Sounds like we are live here for the late night number 74. For the top 8 of the late night of number 74 anyway. We have some very, very interesting matches up ahead, so hopefully you guys are ready.
Wrong, but I made it right. You came begging day and night. I don't wanna hit the bottom, don't go out of your state of mind. I've been counting 1 to 10. I'll be back when you begin. With my music together again. I see you. Yeah, I see you go down. Yeah, I see you go down. I see you. Yeah, I see you go down. Yeah, I see you go down. And I know you keep asking me.
Welcome everyone, my name is Primetime Wizard TV, and today we're doing the late night number 74, again, late night events, The Road to Japan. Who is going to be the lucky champion that makes it all the way to the Pokemon World Championships, courtesy of the Shuffle Squad? Again, we're doing the late night events. The best 64 people, the top 64 at the end of the current season, has a chance to compete at the late night invitational. That, again, prizing is a flight and a paid hotel in Yokohama, Japan, where the Pokemon World Championships are being held. And again, we're looking at the top 8 right now for late night number 74. It's quite a lineup for sure. And you know what? Each of these players should get points towards that invitational, but of course the most points goes to the champion. And again, very big late night today. I believe over 200 people, 250 participants, despite OCIC happening this weekend. There are well, actually, technically, you could compete here and still go to OCIC, but a lot of the competitive players are flying over to OCIC for sure. And despite the big event, we have a huge late night this Wednesday, and I'm very glad you guys are joining us here today for our first stream of the night. We're gonna check out Evan Campbell. Yes, Evan Campbell and against Menlo 621. It's going to be a Mew VMAX against, I believe it is Flying Pikachu Lugia. Looks like the match has started here, so let's go ahead and check that out. All right, again, we have Evan Campbell against Monlo 621 here at the top 8 of late night number 74. Both players set up. Looks like Monlo's going to be able to go first here. Yeah, Monlo's going to be able to go first here, playing Mew with Meloetta. Okay. I'm very surprised actually seeing Meloetta and Mew here at the top 8 of the late night event. Something we've seen more often now is the control variant of Mew, where all we play is double turbo energy and a lot of disruption supporters like Judge or Marnie, Roxanne. Then we play disruption stadiums like Lost City and Path to the Peak. More importantly, Path to the Peak there. But Manolo here is bringing up an old classic. So when Mew VMAX did first come out, it was paired with this Meloetta most of the time, right? Meloetta has the Melodious Echo attack that does I believe it does 70 damage times the amount of Fusion Strike energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And when supported by Alessa Sparkle, you can essentially do upwards of 210 damage on your first turn going second, right? That combo was very, very powerful. In fact, that was when Mew was the undisputed best deck in format. And Manalo here taking us back. So Evan is going second, right? He is going second. I mean, sorry, Manalo is going first, so there's no way he can attack with that Meloetta. We already see the Fusion Strike energy attached to that Meloetta. But yeah, we don't see an attack because you're going first. So Evan can breathe a little bit easy. He's playing the Lugia V-Star with Flying Pikachu. Very interesting deck for sure. I love how there have been a lot of partners to Lugia V-Star recently, right? We see this Lugia Flying Pikachu. I've even seen Lugia Ditto with Shedinja come out recently in the online events. Looks like we're going to go over to Evan here. He's going to need to find a second Lugia, right? That's the name of the game. You fully expect Manalo here to just have the knockout next turn. There's no way they don't. With that board, Meloettas, 2 Genesects on board with 2 Forest Sealstone, by the way. Forest Sealstone allows them to get anything from their deck, essentially making Genesect half a Starbirth. So yeah, definitely getting a second Lugia is going to be big here. Goes for the quick ball here. Finds Lugia, discards the Archeops. Very big discard there. Going through the deck. Again, hallmark of good player, knowing what you have to work with. Actually, very important in the Lugia deck as well, since you're really counting those special energies. Especially their colored special energies. So you can determine, what can I attack with this game, right? Do I have enough resources to attack with the, how many amazing Pokemon? But there we go. We do have 2 Lugia set up. We have a Lugia V-Star in hand already, so that's not too bad there. We can attach this Aurora Energy to the active and try and read the wind, try and draw a little bit better. We do have like a couple of supporters in hand, but they're both Gust. Despite one being Boss Orders, the other being Serena, these are both Gust supporters. We're gonna go ahead and just attach an Aurora Energy. We could Serena away the boss. That's fine, I think. Yeah, Serena away the boss, discarding the boss to draw up to 5 cards there. Hand is looking a lot better for sure, and we can... Lugia does have this one attack called Read the Wind. First attack called Read the Wind, where they can discard 1 card to draw 3. That's not that bad when your back's against the wall. And since, honestly, you're drawing 3 for free, you're not going to be attacking with anything too meaningful on the first turn. So might as well get 3 fresh cards for sure. We're going to go ahead and Read the Wind here, discarding a Lugia V-Star and drawing 3 cards, passing over back to Manalo. Again, Manalo has knockout set up, right? But Evan has the perfect counterplay where it's just, even if you take a knockout, I'm getting a Lugia V-Star no matter what. There's no way here for new VMAX to take knockouts on both Lugia V-Star. We're going to see there we go. There's 4 Fusion Strike energy in play. That means that little Meloetta, it's doing 280 damage on the second turn. Absolutely powerful. We're going to see the Ultra Ball come out here, possibly find a Mew VMAX just to evolve one of the Mews on the bench, preferably maybe the one with the energies perhaps. Or we could also just hold on to it, right? The Pokemon that's exerting pressure right now is the Meloetta. But what Manalo has to check though is if the Mew V on the bench with all the Fusion Strike energy does go down, it does limit the Meloetta's damage output, right? You're taking out 2 Fusion Strike energy, that's taking out 140 damage. But there we go, Meloetta with the Melodious Echo for 280 damage. Not too bad. With that, Manalo does get the lead here. We're going to see Professor Burnett. Very simple card where it just reads, as a supporter for your turn, search your deck and discard 2 cards. You know, sometimes those 2 cards are exactly what you need. We just need the Archeops in the discard pile. That's all we need for this turn. Great consistency card there. And now we do have Lugia all set up, and with one of the most powerful V-Star powers in current standard format, Summoning Star, able to find yourself 2 colorless Pokemon, could be evolved colorless Pokemon. That's why we do see the 2 Archeops come into play. And now Archeops with the Ancient Turbo ability, able to power up any Pokemon Evan does desire. We're going to go ahead and discard the Archeops there. Grabbing a Raikou. Raikou is a very interesting grab here. We do have the Speed Lightning Energy in hand, and Raikou should be enough to take a knockout on the Meloetta, maybe do damage onto the Mew V. We're going to see there 2 Aurora energies being attached to that Raikou. And this Primal Turbo has to grab maybe a DTE or... yeah, oh, the V-Guard energy and the DT. I like that play where V-Guard energy essentially making this Lugia V-Star into a Lugia VMAX. You know, it does match the HP of Mew VMAX at this point. And here we go. We're going to see the amazing shot doing 120 damage to 2 Pokemon. And he does choose the Meloetta and the Mew on the bench. I like this play because it puts in pressure onto the Mew as well. And, you know, it alleviates some of the heavy lifting that Lugia has to do. If Manalo decides to evolve this Mew V into a Mew VMAX, it will have essentially 190 HP. Well, 190 HP, which is very, very easy for Evan here to reach. Lugia V-Star does a base of 220. We have damage modifiers like the powerful energies to work with. We do draw the amazing Yveltal there off the prizes, so it makes a lot more sense now why they went for the amazing Raikou. Because if you, ideally, I think amazing Yveltal is your ideal attacker in this matchup, right? Being able to take a knockout on a VMAX Pokemon, take 3 prizes essentially for an attack is pretty good. But again, Raikou did its job here where he just went ahead and took a knockout on Meloetta, big pressure, and is exerting so much pressure right now onto the Mew. We're going to see Manalo here go for the boss's orders. Again, this Lugia V-Star has 310 HP. I didn't quite catch how many power tablets they've used. I know they've discarded 1 very, very early on. We're going to see the Echoing Horn come into play as well, bringing down the second Lugia V-Star. And now... technically, this is a 3rd Lugia V-Star. That's the same one that got knocked out earlier. Now there's 4 prize cards on the board, right? There's 4 prize cards on the board. You take knockouts on Lugia V-Star. You take a knockout on the Lugia V. You're winning the game. So great play here by Manalo. It's just that he did already commit the boss's orders for turn onto this Lugia V-Star that again has the V-Guard energy. V-Guard energy reads that you take 30 less damage from Pokemon Vs. True to its name, V-Guard energy right there. I believe, yes, a couple of Fusion Strike systems coming down here. Again, very powerful ability here from the Genesect V, where you're just able to draw cards up you can draw cards up to the amount of Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play. And since there are 6, you draw up to 6 for each of those Genesects. There's another power tablet being played. They're still digging here. Manalo here is down to the last couple of cards in his deck. I believe that's the 3rd tablet played. We're going to see a cross Fusion Strike into a Techno. No, it was the 4th. Wait, 3rd. Let me do my math. 3. Oh, sorry. So we're doing a base of 210 here. 210, 240 with the Choice Belt, and 3 power tablets. Yes, because we're not using double turbo. I'm so used to the Mew VMAX math with the double turbo energy. But Manalo here goes down to his last 2 prizes with a Raikou, amazing Raikou, all powered up, but the amazing shot isn't looking too amazing at the moment. It's not taking a knockout here, but you know what is? It's gonna be this Pokemon. It's gonna be Drapion V. Drapion V, the bane of every Mew player. Just a dark Pokemon that does 190 damage for no energy, thanks to that ability. But it is a 2-prizer though. So if Manalo can take, well, he can. He has the Mew VMAX in play, the 2nd Mew VMAX in play with the double turbo energy and with the double turbo energy and the Choice Belt. So he has to go for the Lugia this turn. I don't think they have any more Lugia VMAXs, right? They discarded one. Well, we'll have to see here off this Evolution Incense. Yeah, this Lugia VMAX on the bench is technically the last hope here. Something they do still could do is they can still boss stall for sure, but they're just going to go for the amazing shot here. 120 damage to the Mew V, to both Mew VMAX here. Both Mew VMAXs are heavily damaged at this point. 240 damage on the active. It's just now down to Manalo. Do they have what it takes here to close out the game? Do they have one more Gust option? All right, and it looks like they're looking through the deck. They might not have it here, but just doing an attack here isn't the worst. You know, they're going to go ahead and retreat there to the second UV, playing the Path to the Peak. Now, denying that Drapion V from using its ability, and it is just going to take a knockout there on the Raikou, probably signaling that, you know what, they don't have any more Gusts. So if there was another Lugia V-Star here, that is the window of opportunity that Evan needs to get back into the game. No Lugia V-Star. And unfortunately, Lugia V only has 220 HP as well. That means this should be Manalo's game, unless there is a play I'm not saying they could go for. Again, I mentioned earlier the boss stall, potentially. Oh, they're manually powering up a Drapion now, which is something you can do. But again, your opponent's down to the last two prizes. Go for a big research there, going for the Lost Vacuum. Yeah, they're just gonna go for an arrow dive here. Oh! By getting rid of the choice belt on the Mew V on the bench. Technically, this is the window of opportunity here, right? The Mew V now has, there's no more choice belt. There's no more choice belt in the play, right? Oh, they go for the escape rope here, and that should be game. Sorry, what I was thinking too, that 10 HP on the Lugia V was everything, right? Right now, they're only doing a base of 210, but thanks to that escape rope, going for the Techno Blast here, now it is just enough. So heads up there. Very great play by Evan, because that's something I definitely did not see coming. All right, let's go ahead and go back to desk here while both players set up. What a game. Okay, I counted Evan out for 1 second. You know, there's no more Lugia V-Star. There's no more Lugia V-Stars in the deck. I was thinking, you know what? There's two choice belts on both Mew VMAXs. That's a knockout on absolutely anything on Evan's side of the board. But I didn't quite think of, you know what? Look for your Lost Vacuum, which has the ability to remove tools or stadiums, and get rid of a choice belt on the bench while taking knockout on the active with a Lugia V that has 220 HP, and without any more damage modifiers, that Lugia V might as well be a Lugia V-Star. And you know what? Second game now is about to start. Let's go ahead and jump in. But congrats to Manalo for taking that first set. All right. Looks like Evan here is going to opt to go first now. However, looking at the hand, there's no second Pokemon. There's no Lugia V. A lone Pumpkaboo with the energy gets the Aurora energy attachment for the discard to the Archeops. And just like we were talking about earlier, is that Manalo here, he's playing Meloetta and Mew, right? Not the double turbo version of Mew. He's playing Meloetta. We talked about how Meloetta has the capability to do 210 damage on your first turn going second. So if Manalo here can do it, if he has the capability to do it here, he will take this game, the entire game. He will go ahead and proceed to top 4 of the late night. We're gonna see a Fusion Strike system drawing 3 cards. We have the Forest Seal Stone now attached to the Genesect. So that is absolutely anything they need. All they need here is a switch. If they get a switch, they have the Forest Seal Stone to get the Lesson Sparkle to attack with that Meloetta. Pumpkaboo only has 60 HP. We're gonna Fusion Strike system one more time, finding a Mew. That's not quite it. We're gonna use the Star Alchemy here. Gotta think, do they have it? Or do they go for a Battle VIP? If they don't have it just yet, they can keep thinking. There's the Battle VIP pass finding themselves 2 basic Pokemon. It's gonna be 2 Genesects here. We have 2 more chances at the... Now we're gonna need Switch and the Lesson Sparkle. Does Manalo find it? Again, that's a big 4 cards. A lot of pressure on those 4 cards. Could essentially win him this entire game. There's the Switch onto the Mew. All we're missing now is the Lesson Sparkle. We're only gonna be able to draw 1 though. That 1 card has to be everything. It's gonna be a Cram-O-Matic. Tails, unfortunately, again, Cram-O-Matic. If it was heads, that would have been the game. We're gonna go for a Silene, essentially giving Evan here some time to breathe. Silene is not a Lesson Sparkle, but if that Cram-O-Matic was just had the right coin flip, that would have been it. Cram-O-Matic again reads: discard an item card, flip a coin. If heads, get any card you want from the deck. And I'm 100% sure Manalo there was looking for the Alessa's Sparkle. Looks like there's Silene just putting back a Path to the Peak there. Very, very good play. Again, Path to the Peak will stop Lugia's later down the line. And back to Evan now. Doesn't have too much still. He's going to have to attach that double turbo energy. Use this Serena. And off the Serena, you just have to hope you draw at least a basic Pokemon. And even if you do... Okay, we do have a Quick Ball here. Quick Ball can still grab Lugia V. However, this now... Manalo is free to start using supporters, to use his Gust supporters, right? He doesn't necessarily have to use the Alessa Sparkle to attack with the Meloetta. As long as he can get a DTE on that Mew and evolve it to the Mew VMAX. We're going to see the Quick Ball come into play now. Look, going through the deck, the Lugia V. They're going to have to bench the Yveltal as well, right? We know Manalo is playing stuff like the Escape Rope. No, it looks like they're not going to bench the Yveltal. So now Boss's Orders and Escape Rope, if they can take a knockout on this Lugia V, that puts Evan back a turn. Puts back Evan another turn here. And again, it's just a matter of what are the cards in Manalo's hand. We got to see there's 4 Genesects in play. However, not too many discards happened on the last turn, right? They go for the Boss's Orders. They're the boss on the Lugia. Do they have the DTE, Mew VMAX, and Damage Modifier? It's going to be an attachment there onto the Meloetta. This Meloetta is doing 50 damage. Not quite the damage output you want necessarily. So interesting case, but they do play the Path to the Peak, right? Path to the Peak does stop the Lugia from using its V-Star ability, and it just goes for the Melodious Echo for 50. I'm very curious to see what's in Manalo's hand. Typically, Mew decks only have all the gas in the world, but they're going to go ahead and use this Lost Vacuum there to get rid of, again, we saw it earlier, get rid of a tool. Now we saw it get rid of Path to the Peak, which I'm sure Evan is glad is out of play, because now the Archeops can come and help out, right? They're gonna be able to use the Primal Turbo here to attach to the Lugia V-Star, and despite having a slower start, Evan still was able to get there, right? Was able to get there, got the Lugia V-Star, was able to use Summoning Star. Now we're off to the races. We're taking a knockout here on the Meloetta, and with the V-Guard energy, again, making the Lugia have around, there's 50 damage on the Lugia, so technically it has about 260. Pretty easy to knock out, but again, there is the amazing Yveltal as well now on the bench. So even if Manalo does take this Lugia knockout, he has to prepare for a second Mew. All right, we're gonna see the double turbo attachment there onto the Mew V, and I'm sure Manalo is just thinking he was this close. It was this close, very, very close to just running away with the game. Multiple opportunities there, but the hand is just not working with him. He's drawing just one card off the Fusion Strike system. Again, these okay, Ultra Ball should give us a clearer picture of what is in there. It looks like a Fusion Strike energy and a Quick Ball. That makes sense. Typically, you don't want to discard those Fusion Strike energies because you need them on the Meloetta. And there we go. We're going to see the Mew VMAX now coming into play. We still need one more Mew, though. There's 4 Genesects on the bench. We did see him discard a Quick Ball. But yeah, let's see. How many Mews does Manalo play? I remember in the Fusion Strike variant, sometimes you're playing a lower count of Mew. So there could be a possibility that some Mews are prized. Going over Manalo's deck here. No, he plays the full 4 Mew V, 2 Mew VMAX. Opts to grab another Meloetta instead, though. Very interesting play. Maybe... Oh, I can see it. It's because the next attacker lined up should be the amazing Yveltal, right? You don't want to put in another Mew VMAX, right? You want to force your opponent to an odd prize game, right? So after Manalo here takes a knockout with the Mew V, they can attack with the Meloetta on the following turn. Amazing Yveltal only has 110 HP. The one Fusion Strike energy grab there off the Alesso Sparkle probably signals that there was a lot of Fusion Strike energy in that hand, unfortunately. And there it is. We do see the amazing Yveltal come into play. Do you have enough energies to facilitate looking at the deck at the moment? Yes, we do. We're going to go ahead and attach a Hiding Dark and the double turbo energy. We're only going to need... Oh, we're going to attach both Auroras now. And this is a knockout. However, your next knockout isn't quite lined up yet. You can attack with the Archeops. And there it is. We see the amazing destruction. Just take a knockout. Easy read there. And takes... Evan here takes 3 prizes, goes down to 2, and is technically a gust away from winning this game. And he needs a gust and a different attacker, right? He needs one more big attacker. I'm not sure if... Oh, and there's a Roxanne, though. Big disruption. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it was Fusion Strike Energy and Roxanne in the hand. But very, very big play here by Manalo. Is opting to take a knockout with the Meloetta. So very heads up. Again, I was wondering why they didn't set up a Mew, but you don't need a VMAX here to take a knockout on the amazing Yveltal. And you're only putting up 1 prize, and you're Roxanning your opponent. Making it that much harder to find the Gust option. Very heads up play here by Manalo. And there it is. We're going to see the Melodious Echo for 140 damage. Evan here does promote the Archeops. Finds a great card. Finds an absolutely great card. And by attacking with his Archeops as well, it means he's only giving up 1 prize. If he doesn't bench anything here, he can't lose the next turn, right? So Evan here actually in a pretty good position. Yeah, actually pretty good position. Manalo still needs to take 3 prize cards now that I think about it. So even if he benched a V Pokemon, there's essentially no chance of losing. Unless Evan puts down a Flying Pikachu VMAX and for some reason. But yeah, we're going to go back to Manolo here. And Manolo playing this game absolutely perfectly, in my opinion. Just getting the attack off with that Meloetta that turn, pairing it with the Roxanne, are the plays you need. Are the plays you have to make it here at the top 8 of the late night events. But looking at Evan's hand, he's fully prepared for everything. He's fully prepared. As long as this hand does not get disrupted, Evan should be able to run away with the game here. Oh, Echoing Horde forgot to take that into account. So here we do see the boss's orders on the Lugia V. But again, Manolo still has to take 3 prizes. This is 2. We're going to see the Techno Blast here come out. 220 prizes. Sorry, 220 damage. Goes down to 1 prize. But oh boy, Evan here can just go ahead and put down that Drapion V. And again, the Drapion V, the bane of every Mew VMAX player. Dynamic Tail, 380 damage. Takes a knockout on a big VMAX. And Evan Campbell runs away with the game, ladies and gentlemen. That was, let's go ahead and go back to the desk while we wait for our players here to set up. But what a game! I mean, I was counting Evan out, right? Manolo almost had the game. He almost ran away with it if the Cram-O-Matic just landed the right way. But luckily it didn't. And even then, with the slower start from Evan, just not being able to take advantage of the tempo you're able to get by going for the gas, by taking a knock, by potentially taking a knockout on a Lugia V. Got very close to doing it, but by missing out on that knockout, you lose your tempo. And Lugia V just doing Lugia V things, able to set up very, very important attackers. All right, players are now ready, and I'm pretty sure, yes, Manolo's gonna opt to go first here. And again, this is top 8 of the late night number 74. Evan Campbell against Manolo 621. And again, Manolo playing the Fusion Strike variant of Mew against Lugia V-Star. Again, both these decks were best decks in format at some point in the metagame. In fact, both these decks are tier 1 decks, right? I'm going to see the Battle VIP pass there, grabbing 2 Mew Vs. Not too bad. 4 Seal Stone attachment as well. Onto the Genesect. We're going to have to see, are they going to use that Forest Seal Stone now? Yes, it's going to be Star Alchemy, if I had to guess. Just grab 1 more Battle VIP. I'm sure Manolo here would love to just set up very comfortably. Again, with six Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, you know that the Genesect player is going to be having a good time. In fact, just getting the natural double Battle VIP pass on your opening hand, as a Mew VMAX player myself, I always feel very, very confident in the rest of the game, right? Not only are you getting rid of 2 essentially unplayable cards for later in the game, like the Battle VIP passes, you're getting 2 of those out of the deck. You're also setting up your board. You're drawing multiple cards. This is on your first turn. All you're missing now is possibly like an energy attachment onto the Meloetta or the Mew here. Gonna see a Cram-O-Matic land heads that time. Finally giving Manolo a card they need. But again, if I had to guess, it's probably just attachment for turn, or maybe a supporter card to set up on the next turn. All right, they're gonna be looking for a boss's orders to knock out a Lugia V, just in case Evan can only put down 1. Right, we're gonna see the Forest Seal Stone now attach, another Forest Seal Stone attached to the Genesect, but again, you can only use 1 of the Forest Seal Stone because it is a V-Star power. And Manolo has already used it. We're gonna go use a Trekking Shoes there, just discarding a supporter and getting a new card in hand. So Yeah, again, Manilow was able to dig fairly deep into the deck, but now here, let's see how Evan responds. Evan with a pretty big hand here. Obstacle for the Ultra Ball. Let's see what they're going to find. They could grab the Luminion. They could just go, yes, they could go grab the Luminion and grab the Professor Burnett that is in the deck. That kind of sets up their field, right? They could go double Lugia V, Luminion, Professor Burnett. And something of note is what's in the active at the moment is the Meloetta. Meloetta only has 90 HP. At some point in the game, Evan can just go ahead and attack with the Meloetta. We're going to see it there. Limited Sign, able to find any one supporter in the deck, and might as well find that tech support. There's only 2 Archeops in the deck, and they're going to go ahead and drop both Lugia Vs. Very, very, very safe turn. Very commanding turn for Evan this time as well. It's not a lone Pumpkaboo and attachment for sure. Let's see how, for Evan. Let's see how Manilow decides to respond to this. Something I do want to check is... Yeah, Evan is only playing the 3 Archeops. That's what I was thinking. Typically, Lugia decks opt for the 4 Archeops because it is such an integral part of your strategy that you can't afford to prize 2, right? But again, Evan here opting for a probably leaner deck, opting for 3 Archeops, especially with the Professor Burnett. You're able to really target down those Archeops fairly easily. Off like 1 Quick Ball, we saw it here. Quick Ball into Luminion, into Professor Burnett. Maybe felt more comfortable with the 3 Archeops line, right? You don't need to just find it in your hand, go for the Ultra Ball, Quick Ball to discard them, right? You can just go with the easy Luminion, Professor Burnett, discard. So very heads up. I think that is an absolutely great adjustment in the Lugia deck here. Makes for a leaner deck, and in more ways than one, for sure. You're playing one less. You're playing 1 less Archeops, which again you don't like seeing late in the game. All you need are really those 2 to get discarded, and then Professor Burnett. I'm a 100% a believer in Professor Burnett. All right, we're gonna see Manilow here did go for the boss's orders on that Luminion. He's gonna take those 2 prizes. I like this play, right? This Luminion is what I fully expected it to use. Its Aqua Return attack for a water and 2 colorless, which again Lugia V-Star should be able to do. Water and 2 colorless to go back into the deck and get rid of a liability in play. But Manilow there just eyeing it out. You know what? I'm going to take this knockout before it jumps back into the deck. Preferring to think about it. You preferred to take the knockout on the Luminion V over something like a Lugia V that can potentially evolve there. And we're gonna see Evan here just power up the Raikou, just really targeting down that Meloetta. I think the Meloetta exerting that much pressure onto Evan's deck just does not want to deal with it. Evan here now has 2 Lugia V-Stars in play. Definitely a lot harder to knock out than a simple Lugia V. So it's back to Manilow. Like, to be able to win this game, Manilow has to only take V knockouts, right? Because Evan here is 2 attacks away from winning. All he has to do is attack the Mew and then attack the Mew with an amazing Yveltal. We're going to see Manilow here. Cramomatic coming in clutch once again. Maybe apologizing there to Manilow for the very crucial tails earlier. Let's see, we're going to opt to find. Something Manilow does have access to is the Echoing Horn, right? If they can Echoing Horn the Luminion V, Yes, if they can Echoing Horn the Luminion V, it's going to be as simple as a Gust. You're not going to need any damage modifiers to take those 2 prizes. That is something he has access to here. And at some point, Evan has to attack with the Lugias, right? He can go into something like an Yveltal to knock out an active Mew VMAX for sure. But we're going to see just an attachment there onto the Mew V. There's an Escape Rope coming in now. Yes, totally forgot. Since Mew VMAX did use Technoblast the last turn, that means they have to find a way to switch. And Escape Rope is definitely that way to switch. We're going to see the Genesect now draw up to 6, playing the Lost City as well. Another thing they could do is just take a knockout on this Archeops. So if they take a knockout on this Archeops, it does slow Evan down a little bit. But we're going to see the Echoing Horn come into play. There's the Luminion. Do we see the Boss's Orders? That's something that hasn't been played yet. Again, there it is. There's the Boss's Orders on the Luminion. And all they have to do here is retreat to the Mew VMAX on the bench. And that Mew VMAX is already ready to attack there. There's another Cram-O-Matic. There we go. That pretty 50-50 there. Finally gets Tails after 2 heads. We're going to see a Fusion Strike System straw up. One more Cram-O-Matic for the road. All right. Again, at this point, not quite sure what they need besides maybe damage modifiers just in the hand, right? They're not down any choice belts. They're not down any damage modifiers, really. And I like that the one Mew in the active right now has that Fusion Strike energy. We saw how important it was to hit the magic 310 number, which is a lot easier when you don't have double turbo attached to your Mew VMAX. And we're gonna go ahead and take this knockout, go down to 2. Manalo here in a very commanding lead. Again, Raikou, amazing Raikou did take a knockout on a... Again, it did take a knockout on the Meloetta, but unfortunately now is not exerting any pressure. There's no knockout available for this amazing Raikou. Yeah, I believe Evan here has to go for something like maybe... Do they play Radiant Charizard? I feel like I haven't seen it. No, they don't play any Radiant Charizard. They're going for the Marnie here. What do they need to find? At this point, maybe they just have to attack with the Yveltal. They just have to attack with the Yveltal and just hope that Manalo doesn't get the knockout in return. They're gonna go for the Primal Turbo here. Let's grab 2 powerful energies onto the Lugia. The Lugia now has 3 powerful energies, doing 280 base damage there. That might just be the play. I don't see a clear... They could have powered up an Archeops, potentially. I think Mew VMAX has around 190 HP. They would have needed the Choice Belt on the Archeops to take that knockout since the powerful energy was already attached there to the Lugia. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and retreat here to the Lugia. Tempest Dive for 280 damage. Opting not to discard the stadium. And now, it's up to Manalo. This is it. If Manalo can find enough damage modifiers and energy to take this knockout, 4 Genesects now hitting the field. Gotta ask, there's one choice belt, one power tablet in the discard pile. We've seen it already, right? You only need 1 choice belt, 3 power tablets to take this knockout. Manalo also has access to something like the Silene. I'm not sure if they've already played it this game, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead. Fusion Strike System for 6. They're gonna be able to see almost everything in their deck. There's 1 power tablet. There's 9 cards left in the deck. There's a Fusion Strike Energy attachment there onto the Mew. Mew's doing 240. We need 3 more damage. There's a Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders means we only need Sorry, 210, 240, two more damage bar. There's one more power tablet, 270 damage here at the moment. They need one more. They need a choice belt. They need a fusion strike energy. They need the power tablet. It's gonna be a cross fusion strike. Techno blast, not quite the knockout. And with that, yes, it's gonna be an attachment. Double turbo energy onto that Lugia V-Star. Retreats there to the Drapion. Drapion, dynamic tail, taking the knockout. Evan Campbell, ladies and gentlemen, takes the set. Let's go ahead and head back to the desk there. What an intense game. When we talk about games that are down to the wire, that could have gone literally either way, we're going to have to think of that game in particular, right? Manolo was literally a coin flip away from running away with it all, right? Could have possibly ran away with the turn one knockout on the lone Pumpkaboo to take the set, to proceed to top four. And here, game three, again, Manolo was 10 damage short. 10 damage short from winning it all. From taking a knockout on the Lugia V-Star. This went down to a game three. This went down, ladies and gentlemen, to 10 damage. Absolutely close. As close as it can get. So great plays for Manolo. I think we all learned a couple of new tricks as well there. I love the Meloetta play. Just setting that up. Meloetta, double attach into Roxanne. Great play for sure. Let's go ahead and check top four. Looks like we have Tomo 1713 against Chris Fontenot and Evan Campbell against Matt Vandersloot. All right, let's go ahead and check if we have any other game live at the moment. We have Evan already streaming their game here. Give me 1 second. The other side of top four has already finished a match. Let me check if we can check out that top four. If not, we can always go back to Evan for their top four match. Yes. Looks like we do have a... Let's go ahead and check in on the other side of the top four. Yeah, looks like it is Reggie against Mew, but look, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties on this side of the stream here. But yeah, multiple Mews in today's late night top four for sure. And now up against Reggie, the Reggie deck. It is Tomo 1317 against Christian Fontenot. Christian Fontenot, yes. And Christian playing the Reggie deck against this Tomo's Mew VMAX deck. Something of note in play at the moment is the Collapse Stadium. Do excuse me. Again, the stream not quite as clear at the moment. Maybe we can just go ahead and jump back into Evan's side. Yes. Give me 1 second. All right, we'll head back to the desk while I set this up. All right, this side of the stream looking clear for sure. Let's go ahead and check this out. All right, we have Evan Campbell again against Cinder. Yes, Evan against Matt. It's going to be Arcturalodon this time against Lugia VMAX. Lugia V-Star, excuse me. Looks looks like Evan just starting out with the lone Luminion. Does get the attachment on the Luminion. Evan here opting to just go for the Summoning Star. Summoning Star for one Archeops. And yeah, Summoning Star off for one Archeops just to put in that pressure, right? Just to take a knockout on that Lugia V before it becomes the Lugia V Star, I think is just the play you have to make. You have to hope here that Cinder does not evolve this this Duraludon V. Like, hopefully they just don't have the Ultra Ball. Oh, just as I say it, there it is, the Ultra Ball there. Gonna be able to find the Duraludon VMAX. And Duraludon VMAX, absolutely an absolute powerhouse of a card. Absolute tower for sure. With the Skyscraper ability, it's not affected by damage. Sorry, you can't damage this Pokemon if your Pokemon has a special energy attached. Which, that's all Lugia V-Star plays. Excuse me. But yes, that's all Lugia V-Star plays. So now this Duraludon, especially with the big Parasol, it's Duraludon against the world, right? It's just that this Duraludon is very much equipped for this matchup. Again, when the attack G-Max Pulverization does 220 damage, that is enough to two-shot almost everything in Evan's side of the field. They're going to need to find some very specific cards here. They're going to need the Yveltal for sure. And they're going to need to... Oh, they go for the boss's orders on the Drapion V on the bench. I like that play. The Lugia and the active not doing that much at the moment. And just powering up the Yveltal on the bench there. Because he's going to have to do that. There's only one Archeops in play. You can't just go Yveltal, surprise Yveltal. There's no way to power it up in one turn when there's only one Archeops in play. So you're going to have to put it on the bench, which means this is it. This is the most crucial turn for the game. And there it is. That's what I was going to talk about. If you get the boss's orders on the lone Yveltal, that's the only way Evan has the capability to deal with the Duraludon. There's nothing else in Evan's deck, and there it is, the quick concession there. Duraludon takes the first match. Very quick game there. Let's head back to the desk while both players set up there. I was just about to talk about it, but again, looks like Cinder had everything they needed in that opening hand. Who needs a Arceus V-Star Starbirth, right? When you find the cards you need, they had the Duraludon VMAX, they had the boss's orders. But again, that deck does play multiple copies of both those cards, right? So it's no surprise to find it necessarily. But yeah, so huge win there from Cinder, despite, again, Evan putting in the pressure, right? Definitely putting in the pressure, taking knockouts on the Arceus V very early in, but then not being able to set up a second Archeops because of it. Both players are now set up. Let's go ahead and head back to the game here. All right. Evan here opting to go first. Does have the Evolution Incense to find the Archeops. And don't you just love to do this where you have the Ultra Ball as well, getting the two Archeops to the discard pile absolutely naturally there. Finding the Lugia V, gets the attachment, and now they are a V-Star away from getting a knockout on anything on Cinder's side of the board. However, we don't see the Lugia V-Star just yet. There is a supporter, so there are Evan's gonna be able to see at least 4 cards on the following turn. Back to Cinder here. Needs to find a second Pokemon. Wouldn't blame them here if they just decided to drop a second Arceus V as well. Who? Sorry about that. But yes, second Arceus V coming down, just like we said. Again, we fully expect at least one of these Arceus to go down this next turn if Evan can draw the right cards here. Well, actually just draw the right card. It's specifically one card Evan is looking for, and there are multiple outs. There's naturally drawing into the Lugia V-Star, using an Ultra Ball to find it, using an Evolution Incense to find it. So very good chance here that Evan has it. But what else does Cinder have in his hand? He needs to find the Duraludon V as well, just to get it ready for Duraludon VMAX. We're going to see the attachment there on the bench, fully expecting again for the active Arceus to get knocked out. Something they could do as well is mustard the Duraludon out. Let me double check if they do play the mustard card. No, they don't. Yeah, some Duraludon lists are opting out of the mustard card, where if it is the last card in your hand, you get to play it, and then the single strike mustard card, and if it's the last card in your hand, you get to play it and search for any single strike Pokemon from your deck and put it onto your bench. That means you can bypass the first phase of Duraludon. Looks like Cinder there went for a Marnie. It was a pretty big Marnie here with the Temple of Sinnoh, typically. But they are still going to be able to get this attack off. Yes, they're going to be able to attach two powerful energies there onto the Lugia V. Use the second Archeops to attach two energies to the active. They're going to have to attach two. They can't use double turbo because of the Temple of Sinnoh in play at the moment. So very, very big Marnie there. Goes to the Lugia V-Star, and Lugia V-Star just going to take this knockout, take two prizes, as well as discard the stadium in play, right? I'm sure they would. Oh, they could opt to not discard it this turn, right? If they don't discard the stadium this turn, that means yes. Sometimes it's a little bit automatic for me, right? Temple of Sinnoh is a card that you don't necessarily like to see as a Lugia player. Temple of Sinnoh shuts off it turns every special energy to a colorless energy, right? And typically Lugia V-Star has the attack that just gets rid of stadiums in play. You saw there Evan hesitate, sometimes a little bit automatic for me, just get rid of the Temple of Sinnoh. But he debated on, he didn't get rid of it there because Arceus V-Star needs a DTE to attack. And with Temple of Sinnoh in play, that means that play isn't possible. That's why we do see here the Training Court being played now. So Arceus V-Star now free to be able to get the Trinity Nova off. I'm pretty sure the grab there was the Duraludon V on the bench and the DTE. It's going to be a very big... Oh, and the boss's orders on the Archeops. Cinder here, again, realizing that the way he loses this match is if the Yveltal comes out of nowhere, right? So a good way to force that situation where he has to drop the Yveltal first is getting rid of one of them. Just like what we saw in the last round where they just had to put it down because there's only one Archeops, and exact same situation at the moment here. We're going to see there's the Lugia V-Star now, just taking a knockout there on the Arceus V-Star. Getting rid of the stadium as well. Going down to 2. Evan here, very, very close. Duraludon V now in the active here for Cinder. Do they have the VMAX? If they don't have them VMAX, we're going to a game 3. If the VMAX is in hand though, the VMAX can close out this game, just like we saw earlier. No matter how far ahead Evan can get, if you have the right cards in hand, you can win the game. Big Marnie here. Off this Marnie, you need to find the Duraludon VMAX. Let's see if Cinder has it. Very, very tense situation. Again, Evan just has knockout. Lugia V-Star, excuse me, is doing enough damage to knock out any base Pokemon V. The only thing that survives this turn is a Duraludon VMAX. The fact that Cinder isn't just playing it down here as quick as possible is making me think he doesn't quite have it. There's a Pokegear here, Pokegear allowing them to find themselves another supporter. There's the boss's orders in hand. So just signaling, if you drop the Evoltal, I have the knockout on it, but is the VMAX in the hand? It's going to be breaking Swipe, and Cinder here not finding the right cards this time. This Lugia V-Star is just going to take this knockout. Yes, Duraludon only has 220 HP and 270 damage there with 4 powerful energies. And Evan ties it up. Evan again, always bringing the games to game 3. No. Let's go ahead and head to the desk while we wait. But yeah, Evan just being able to force these game 3s in a very, very precarious situations, just like we've seen the last round. He lost the first game as well, was able to bring it back in the second and clutch out the third. Well, let's see here. Cinder's going to be able to go first, though. That's going to be huge. Looks like both players are now set up. Let's head back to the game here. All right, again, Cinder able to go first here. Very important as the Arceus player. It gives you that chance to turn into Arceus V-Star before anything bad can really happen. We does start the Arceus V here. Does get the attachment for turn. Do we see the Duraludon V? Dropping the Duraludon this early could be big. We saw earlier how much he was struggling at finding the VMAX. But no, it's just going to be a lone Arceus here. Now it's back to Evan. Can Evan find the right pieces to get to the Lugia V? Luckily, Flying Pikachu now in the active. Not going to matter too much in this matchup, but it's nice to have that... it's nice to have that free retreat, right? That pivot in play for sure. Something some Lugia decks don't quite have access to sometimes. Looks like here Evan just committing on the Ultra Ball, discarding the Flying Pikachu VMAX. Gonna find themselves that Lumineon V again. Not too many things in hand at the moment. They're gonna go for the Lumineon and the Marnie. I like this play. Try and disrupt your opponent a little bit, giving them only 5 cards to work with next turn. Something they could do, they could retreat and read the win, but they're opting not to there. Just a quick pass now back to Cinder's side of the field. They do have a quick ball, so they at least have a second V Pokemon. They have a second Pokemon in play at least. Finding the Duraludon. The question is the Arceus V-Star in hand? Horus Experiment now coming into play. They get to look at 5 cards from the top of their deck, put 3 into their hand, 2 into the Lost Zone. It's gonna be big. The Arceus V-Star has to come down here. Oh, they sent one to the Lost Zone. Makes me think they got multiple. So Arceus V-Star now in play. They can go ahead and do the Star Birth ability. Star Birth again, able to find themselves any 2 cards from their deck. There it is, Star Birth. And let's see, if I had to guess, double turbo attachment for sure. Maybe a second Duraludon, right? Just to guarantee. Yeah, there it is. Second Duraludon, just in case Evan here has the Lugia V-Star Gust into a Duraludon. You want to have 2 in play. We're going to see the Arceus now go for the Trinity Nova. 180 damage there onto the Flying Pikachu. Not quite enough. 190 HP on that Flying Pikachu. I don't think Cinder is playing any damage modifiers to help facilitate that. But that's okay. You know what? The name of the game is not racing price cards here. Just like what we saw earlier, the name of the game is the board state. Whoever has the better board state is going to win this game. We're going to see 2 Luminion Vs now come into play. Just finding a Marnie. I believe they still need a second Archeops and the Lugia V-Star. And unfortunately, it looks like Evan's going to miss it there. But I like the Marnie chain here. You need to slow down your opponent, right? You have to disrupt as much as you can, because the Duraludons are just such a huge threat to your deck. And it's just going to be a pass there. Evan there missing the attack with the Lugia. Something now open to Cinder is if they can evolve into a Duraludon VMAX and go for the boss's orders, they can take down the lone Lugia in play. Right? There's only one Lugia. It has 220 HP. There's 2 powerful energies as well. Very, very, very tempting card there. Do they have it off the Marnie? There's a Duraludon VMAX. Even if they don't, they're still in a pretty good position. The fact that the Duraludon's in play and they're going to be able to set up 2, they retreat there to the Duraludon and the boss's orders. Then the boss's orders there onto the Lugia V. Evan just completely losing a turn there. They're going to have to find another Lugia V, and then they still have to deal with the big Duraludon. Cinder here, just willing that boss's orders to the top of their deck most of the games at very, very crucial turns here. Absolutely huge. Yeah, Matt is playing 4 Core Experiment and 4 Boss's Orders. So again, 4 Boss's Orders, 4 Gusting options, plus the 4 Pokegear. You should fully expect them to see it almost every turn. And I like that Flying Pikachu there was trying to go for the Thunder Shock just to buy themselves a turn. You know, go for the sneaky paralysis. There's a Pokegear. Just like we talked about, if they can get Boss's Orders one more time, they win the game. No, all right, there is going to be a Marnie. But again, still, the Duraludon still in a very commanding position, right? But yeah, still in a very commanding position. Just being able to attack here, taking 2 prizes off the Flying Pikachu should put them very, very ahead. And then they essentially be 1 gust away from winning. You know, they don't have to get the boss's orders right now. They can wait a turn, especially with a double turbo energy now on the Arceus. And there's 2 Luminion in play. There's going to be a G-Max pulverization there, 220 damage onto the Flying Pikachu. This it's Lugia against the world now. Yeah, they're going to opt to promote the Luminion. There's the Lugia V-Star. I don't think they have enough. If that Ultra Ball was Quick Ball instead, right? That Ultra Ball had to be a Quick Ball instead to be able to find the amazing rare Yveltal. I think here you just attach to the Luminion and just fly up. You just go Aqua Return. If he has Boss, he has game. Evan here just realizing that's gonna be it. Again, just losing all the tempo there. Let's go ahead and head back to the desk. Oh, congratulations to Matt or Cinder there. Again, just able to win on board state. That's the name of the game when you're playing Duraludon. You want to make sure you take out your you take out the threats to the Duraludon, right? If your opponent is out of ways to knock out the giant tower, doesn't matter how many prizes they have left, you're going to be able to win that game. And Cinder definitely realizing how to maneuver that matchup to exactly where he wants. So absolutely great plays there. But huge congratulations to Evan. And again, thank you for streaming their game. They've been down. Sorry, I've counted Evan out multiple times in this top 8, right? It came down very, very close against that Mew deck where it came down to 10 HP. In my mind, I didn't quite see it happening, but Evan just able to bring it back, you know, able to make that comeback and make it to the top 4 and just facing a very tough matchup. And at that point, right, despite the fact that I saw multiple Duraludons, the Duraludon take a knockout on Lugia, I still believed because if anyone could have brought it back, it was Evan. But unfortunately, the cards were just not in his favor at that moment. The Ultra Ball there, if it was literally a quick ball instead, then maybe we could get an amazing Yveltal set up. But again, top 4 in an over 250 person tournament. Huge congratulations, Evan. Let's go ahead and check here if we have the next game. We do know Cinder is in the final, so we can go ahead and hang out or catch their stream. They are streaming their games as well. And looks like finals is up and running. Let's go ahead and check it out. Yes, it's going to be Tomo 1317 here against Cinder. Or Matt here. It's going to be Mew against Duraludon. All right, looks like Cinder here was able to go first, get the attachment there on the Arceus. Tomo is playing the technically the more traditional or the more prevalent version in this current metagame, where it's only double turbo, no Meloetta here. And I'm sure if they had the Meloetta, taking knockout on this Arceus would have been big. But right now, this Arceus is safe from any sort of damage this turn. All right, again here, Tomo just setting up name of the game right now, just finding those Genesects, finding those Fusion Strike Pokemon to put in play to facilitate the draws. See Cramomatic come in. No, it's going to be Tails there. One more Fusion Strike system here. Draws 3 more cards. Again, they have the Mew with the energy, but they're going to need a second Mew. They're going to need a second Mew here. They do get the Forest Seal Stone, and they're just going to go ahead and use the V-Star power, possibly find themselves the Battle VIP, because again, Arceus V with 1 energy attachment is already very scary. To go for the Judge here instead. Big Judge, try and maybe slow down the opponent. But again, if they don't find a second Mew V, Cinder here can quite easily take a knockout. Mew V only has 180 HP, which is just enough with, which is just the right amount HP to get knocked out by a Trinity Nova with a DTE. We're going to see another Cramomatic here. Very important Cramomatic. Tails, unfortunately, but there's a Quick Ball. 1 card left in hand, grabbing 1 more Genesect, drawing 5 more cards here. 4 Genesects in play at the moment. There's a second Mew V. All right, and we know here Cinder, I believe, is not playing any means of damage modification. Let me double check that real quick. Yes, there's no means of damage modification, so it's base 180 for sure. It's just that, do they want to take this knockout here? They do get the DTE and the Ultra Ball, so they have the Arceus V-Star, they have the attack without needing anything necessarily. They even have the boss's orders for turn, right? So they can use this Starbirth to just set up. You know, they can go ahead, Starbirth, find themselves the Duraludon VMAX, and maybe a second one? Or another supporter for the next turn, like Professor's Research. That sounds good for sure. Again, Mew VMAX, another deck here that only plays special energy, right? Duraludon VMAX with the Skyscraper ability just is performing really well in today's meta, where things like Lugia, Regis, Mews, they're only playing special energy because these are some of the best decks in format. And just having that very, very powerful ability, despite not being the fastest deck in the world, definitely cements its place in today's meta. And yeah, we're going to see the Starbirth there grabbing the Duraludon VMAX, and with the Trinity Nova attack, it's going to be a fully powered up Duraludon in just a turn here, and the boss's orders there just to grab the Mew V with the energy. Oh, something of note though. There is no That wasn't a metal energy. Duraludon VMAX needs a fighting and 2 metal energies to attack. But I believe they're looking for... Okay, they did get one off the prizes. Maybe they had a couple of energies prize there. They do play 5 metal. So I found it very odd, especially this early, where they only have 6 cards in their discard pile, that they didn't have enough metal energy. Must have been multiple prize there. And now that Duraludon's almost good to go. They're going to need to commit a couple of power tablets as well to take the knockout on a Arceus V-Star. Arceus V-Star does have 280 HP. I like the addition of the 1/1 Flying Pikachu as well in this Arctura list. I just realized that that's why there is the lightning energy there. But yeah, again, 280 HP, still quite the amount of HP to deal with, right? They're gonna need a Mew VMAX, Choice Belt, and 2 power tablets to deal with it. There's the Choice Belt. They still need the Mew VMAX, the energy attachment, still quite a bit. Again, you're digging here. You're digging through this deck to deal with what is essentially not really the threat, right? You're dealing with an Arceus V-Star. After you deal with the Arceus V-Star, you still have to deal with the Duraludon. And I'm not quite sure how you do it besides the Max Miracle. Again, you can Max Miracle to about 130 damage. It's a 130 damage shred to the Duraludon. But that you're essentially 3-shotting the Duraludon. Maybe you have just enough time there, but it's going to be Technoblast, 250 damage. Not quite the knockout. Let's see here what Cinder decides. Dude, goes for the Colress's Experiment there. Gets a couple of cards. Maybe they're thinking... Maybe they're thinking they need to set up another Duraludon. But do we have the energies to facilitate that necessarily? If they do set up 2 Duraludons, that should be game. Right? That should be a board state that Mew VMAX cannot just go over, right? But you do run the threat here. Let me double check the list as well. If the Mew VMAX list, if they're playing things like the Echoing Horn, right? No Echoing Horn here. It's a very interesting Mew VMAX list. I like the choices for the stadium. It's 1 Crystal Cave, 1 Collapse Stadium. Both those stadiums are very anti-lost bots, but in this matchup, you could use the Collapse Stadium to get rid of this Mew VMAX once it's hit by this Arceus V or Duraludon VMAX. And but other than that, there's no Echoing Horn, right? Since there's no Echoing Horn, I feel much safer in putting down this Duraludon V. Because now it's not, even if they take a knockout on this Duraludon V, even if they take a knockout on the Arceus V-Star, you need to force your opponent to deal with the Duraludon V Max, right? That's the name of the game here. And yeah, we're going to see the attachment there onto the Mew V. Do find the boss's orders. So again, just like I said earlier, they're going to be able to deal with this Duraludon. They still need to find the switch, technically. They don't quite have it just yet. There's a cross switcher discarded there by the Cram-O-Matic. They did get heads. Let's see if they have this switch. It's going to be a retreat. I switch card there. So they are able to deal with this Duraludon. But again, it's A-OK. 7 cards left in the deck. So Tomo here has a 6 card plus 2, 8, 15 cards. He has 15 cards total to work with here to deal with a Duraludon VMAX. And I don't quite see how they do it necessarily. They're just going to go ahead and promote the VMAX at this point. Able to just take these 3 prizes, which is big. You know, this is the thing. This is what is stopping me from calling Duraludon VMAX a control style deck, right? Yes, you are tanking, right? You're trying to control the metagame. You're trying to control your opponent's board state to a point where they can't deal with Duraludon. But at the same time, you have to remember Duraludon VMAX is doing 220 damage. That's a lot of damage. You know, that's enough for you to really put in pressure, to put tempo, to gain tempo in this game. And just look at the board state. Duraludon VMAX is gonna take this knockout on Mew VMAX. You're gonna take 3 prizes. You're gonna hold down to 1. You're in a scenario where, you know what? I'm a boss away from winning the game. Oh, but looks like they're gonna opt to just boss the Mew V. I like this play as well. By bossing this Mew V before it turns into a Mew VMAX, what is Tomo gonna do? There's nothing he can hide behind. There's nothing in Tomo's side of the field that can take 220 damage now. So now he's safe from things like Roxanne, from Marnie. It's game on board, despite having only 2 cards on board, 2 Pokemon on board. Because nothing. He's gonna have to psychic. If he psychic leaps this Mew VMAX, Mew V, Genesect V, they can't deal with it. There's no boss stalling either. The Arceus on the bench has multiple energies to try and retreat. I don't quite see it. But again, Tomo here was able to make it to the finals of the late night. If there's a play I'm not seeing, I'm sure someone who can make the finals of late night can make it happen here. But yeah, again, I don't quite see it. Duraludon VMAX, just an absolutely huge tower. Even if by some miracle, by some max miracle, some would say, the Mew VMAX takes a knockout on the Duraludon. Oh, with the Path of the Peak. Again, yeah, even if you take this knockout, yeah, you know, it's 330 HP. We've already committed power tablets. There's still an Arceus on the bench that can deal with the Mew, right? And there it is. Gmax Pulverization there, taking the last 2 prizes. Okay, that's something I have to keep note of as well. All right, let's head to the desk here while we wait for the players to set up. But yeah, okay, so Path of the Peak, that's one way to hit Duraludon for sure. So could be big. Those cards could be very, very big. Not as big of a wall there compared to, sorry, it's not as big of a wall that a Lugia player has to deal with. Like, Lugia only has one option to deal with Duraludon. Well, now that I think about it, Mew VMAX has 2 Path of the Peak. They have 2 chances there to deal with a Duraludon VMAX, as well as Max Miracle. So there are a couple of options to deal with Duraludon. This should be a very interesting game for sure. And now it is set up. Let's go ahead and head back. All right. Tomo here opting to go first. While, okay, this is big, right? They're going for an Ultra Ball. They're discarding a Power Tablet. By discarding that Power Tablet, the 1 Path of the Peak, Quad Tablet, and Choice Belt play to knock out a Duraludon VMAX no longer on the table. But again, sometimes you have to discard some crucial cards to really get set up here. Something I'm sure Tomo would have loved to see is just a Battle VIP pass on the first turn. Yeah, they're just gonna go for a Fusion Strike system here for 2. Can they draw into Battle VIP pass? Maybe even Cram-O-Matic to try and get there. There's a DT attachment to the Mew, and not that much. Back here now to Cinder. Cinder here only has the lone Arceus in play. Goes for the Chorus's Experiment. Does get a Quick Ball. That was very important. And debating on the 3rd card. We saw earlier how crucial those Metal Energies were, because he had a couple of prize. So I'm sure he's yeah, there it is. I'm sure he was hesitating just based on the scenario from the last turn. And he has another supporter in hand, so the Chorus not as important. The DTE getting attached there to Arceus. They do have a Quick Ball here. It's important. They do, yeah, they can discard the Pikachu because there's no Echoing Horn for Tomo, so that Pikachu is as good as in the Lost Zone. And we're just gonna see the Trinity Charge here, getting the Fighting and double metal onto the Duraludon. Just going through the prizes. There's one more Duraludon. There's 2 Duraludon VMAX in the deck. One more Duraludon V. And now it's on to Tomo. Tomo has to put in the pressure, right? He has to find the switch, the Mew VMAX, the Choice Belt to take the knockout on this Arceus V. There's the Mew VMAX. Fusion Strike system for 1. Not what you like to see in this scenario. But it's gonna be an Ultra Ball. Okay, so there is the chance for a Genesect train to just happen here. We're gonna go ahead and Fusion Strike System for 4. And again, once the Genesect train has left the building, it's pretty hard to stop. And this is one more Fusion Strike System here. That should be the last one, because the last bench space should be saved for another Mew V. We're gonna see a quick ball here. All they need here is a damage modifier, but they did have to discard a Choice Belt and a Power Tablet earlier. No, it's gonna be another Genesect. Really? Are they gonna discard the Genesect? No. What? They're gonna keep the Genesect. They're going big here. They really, really don't want the Arceus V to turn into Arceus V-Star. We're gonna see one more Fusion Strike System here for 6. Did it pay off? Again, you have to find yourself a damage modifier in the form of a Choice Belt or the Power Tablets to take this knockout. And you kind of went all in on this play. They still have one more way to draw, and that is with Judge. This could be big. This could be very big if they take this knockout, get rid of the possibility for a Arceus V-Star, and you just judged your opponent. They could potentially get stuck here. Very risky plays. Again, if you Techno Blast with this Mew, you're gonna have to retreat it. Oh, they do play the Collapse Stadium there, so they can use Collapse Stadium, get rid of it, and then bench another Mew later down the line. I can see their plays, and unfortunately, missing out there on the knockout on the Arceus V-Star. Arceus V is gonna give it a chance to evolve into the Arceus V-Star, giving them access to a Starbirth. It's looking very good here for Cinder, because now he has this window opportunity to try and set up a second Duraludon. They can evolve into this Arceus. They can attach the DT, so they have the attack. Could quick ball here, find themselves the second. So no matter what in this hand, I think you have access to evolving into another Duraludon, getting another Duraludon V, and getting a research, right? Hand is pretty good for sure. But if they missed out, right? If they didn't have the Arceus V-Star to work with, Cinder would be in a very, very tough position. That means it would have been a lone Duraludon against the world. But yeah, we're going to see here, go for the Starbirth, try to guess Duraludon VMAX, and possibly the Research. If it's in the deck, there's the Professor's Research. Almost grabbed the big Parasol there. You don't want to misclick here and the finals of the late night event. Oh, opting for maybe Temple of Sinnoh instead. That could be an interesting play, but no, I think you need a supporter here. Looking like they wanted to keep the Ultra Ball in hand. I like that, because they need the Ultra Ball for next turn for sure. So might as well just grab a Chorus. That's 2 less cards, but you already have one of the cards you want in hand. They go for the Chorus's Experiment here. Boss, Marnie, and the Energy. If I had to get, yep, there it is. And they could attach the DTE, or they could attach the Metal Energy. Looks like they're going for the Metal Energy instead onto the Arceus V. Do they have enough there to power up a second Duraludon? Yes, they do. And just like that, 2 Duraludons are almost up and running. Tomo is in a tough position. We know there's Ultra Ball in hand. Bumps the stadium there, gets the Crystal Cave into play. Again, a very anti-Lost Box Stadium for sure. And does have the retreat into Switch card, so this Mew VMAX can attack once again. But I'm sure here they need to find a way to knock out the Duraludon V on the bench. Just like earlier, they cannot deal with 2 Duraludon VMAX. I don't think the Mew has enough resources to deal with 2 VMAXs. So they have to take this knockout before it evolves. So in order to do that, they need a damage modifier and the Gust. Question is, do they have it here? They're going for the Star Alchemy. Star Alchemy again. Half a Starbirth here. Finds anything they want from the deck. But they still need 2 pieces, I believe. Opting to use an Ultra Ball. Maybe the fact that they needed 2 pieces, forcing them to find the Ultra Ball off the Star Alchemy, potentially, just to thin out the hand. That's an option for sure. Typically, you see a switch card there, an item card you can't burn, unfortunately, because it is a Mew VMAX is not a basic Pokemon. You can't use it to switch out there. You're gonna see a quick ball. There's four Genesect to work with. You have to imagine that Mew VMAX just has to draw the right cards. You know, you're drawing so many cards at this moment, but there are a lot of unplayable cards like the double turbo energies, maybe a couple of Pokemon you can no longer play because your bench is full. We're gonna see the Lost Vacuum here again, just thinning out the hand. Big draw here. It's gonna be a draw 4. There's the Cramomatic. Discarding a Battle VIP. It is heads there. So at least one piece of the puzzle should be in Tomo's hand. There's the boss's orders onto Duraludon and the power tablet. So there it is. Cross Fusion Strike into a Techno Blast for the knockout. And just like that, it's going to be Arceus and Duraludon against the very similar board position, in my opinion, since as the last, very similar board position to the last game here, right? There's one Mew VMAX on the bench. There's a Mew V heavily damaged. We have a boss's orders in hand. Do they go for it again? You know, earlier that was a game-winning play, right? That was a game-winning play on Cinder's side of the field. But however, this time it's still 2 prizes off. But they could be 2 attacks here from winning the game, right? If they opt to boss the Mew V, 3 attacks, including the attack from this turn. If they opt to attack the Mew V, take that knockout, and then take a knockout on the Mew VMAX, because that's all that can attack this turn, and then go for another boss, theoretically, that could win them the game in 3 turns. Whereas if you take a knockout on the Mew V right now, take a knockout on the Mew VMAX right now, the Mew V on the bench could evolve into Mew VMAX, and you have to 2-shot that before it's knocked out. That's also 3 turns, technically. Yeah, that's also 3 turns. So there are some options for sure. But yeah, I think here maybe just taking the knockout on the Mew V, definitely safe. Yes, you're leaving your Arceus in the active. I like this play. So he's leaving the Arceus in the active just to thin out the deck 3 cards, right? So they are essentially a gust and 2 gusts away from winning the game. I'm not quite sure how many they've used at this point or how many they've had to discard. But again, they're going down to 3 prizes. And hitting into the active Mew also isn't the worst, right? If they evolve this Mew into a Mew VMAX, heading into it and then just hoping to find the boss later down the line is definitely a play. It's going to take them multiple turns to deal with this board here with the Arceus V, with the Duraludon VMAX. 10 cards with 13 cards left. There's 13 cards left. If you win the Stadium War, you also just win the game as well. That's something we have to keep note. So we're going to see the Genesect there draw 3 more cards. There's the Mew VMAX, excuse me. Lost Vacuum coming down as well. Again, both players just thinning out decks, thinning out cards at this point. Something that is live is Roxanne now. I'm sure. Let me double check if the Mew player is playing it. Yes, they do play 1 Roxanne, but it's going to be a judge there. Let's see if they find anything in particular in the next hand. Again, you don't need that much. You just need to hit. Here, you just need to thin out the hand. and find the judge at the right moment. 26 cards there for Cinder's deck. Tomo's actually down to his last card. Something we have to fully expect here is a Roxanne, but if you Roxanne, it's gonna be a Psychic Leap. Okay. So that was a Psychic Leap knockout there on the Arceus V-Star. Like that play, it does avoid, stop them from getting a... Sorry, it does stop them from taking or doing damage on the Mew VMAX. Also stops them from getting decked out. That's what I was thinking. We're going to see the Ultra Ball here. I think Ultra Ball just to thin out the hand. But the Escape Rope's a really good card. Temple of Sinnoh is a really good card. All you want to get rid of is the Double Turbo. You could attach the Double Turbo, just do 200 damage. That's not too bad. But we're just going to see a Marnie here. All we're looking for is a boss for the next turn. That's all we need for the next turn. Because we're going to take a knockout here on the Genesect. Cinder here just very, very, very close to winning the game. Temple of Sinnoh being played, I don't mind that, just because it is one less card to draw. It does stop the Mew V from attacking, but I fully expect them to just have the Path to the Peak this next turn. That's the card they're going to have to play anyway to hit into Duraludon, because they won't have access to Max Miracle. There's no second Mew VMAX to copy. Yeah, there's no second Mew VMAX to copy. Right now, they need a lot. They need to disrupt the hand. They need to Roxanne, find the Mew VMAX, find the Path to the Peak. There's a Choice Belt, last card in the hand. Has to be Roxanne. No, it's going to be draw a couple more cards. Again, they have access to everything in their deck, but they have to do it so that they don't deck out. They're going to drop the Forest Seal Stone as well. Draw one more card here. Yeah. Again, if the hand isn't disrupted, Cinder here, Matt has game in hand. Tomo down to one card. There's the Path to the Peak. Cross Fusion Strike into a Psychic Leap there, doing 80 damage. But here it is. Matt Vandersloot. Cinder does have the boss's orders and G-Max Pulverization to become tonight's late night number 74 champion. Absolutely huge. Again, we got to see just how powerful this Duraludon VMAX is. And let's go back and hang out at the desk there while we talk about, while we dissect that game. Again, Matt just being able to put in the pressure. Like, again, Duraludon VMAX almost feels like a control, but also, you know, it's 220 is nothing to scoff at. 220 shred that goes through absolutely anything. That means if you're attacking with something like the Rolling Iron on Goodra, for example, that reduces damage, it goes through that. If for some reason you have special energies on your Duraludon, you can still hit into opposing Duraludon, or you can hit through Milk Tank. So absolutely big, absolutely powerful card, and we got to sit through a masterclass of how to play the deck. Again, manipulating the field so that your Duraludon is in a good position to close things out. That's one way to play it, or just putting in the pressure. Again, 220 damage after 180, absolutely big. And again, very, very good deck in today's metagame. And we got to see it play against almost every special energy deck and piloted well, just like our champion here, Matt Vandersloot. Absolutely huge. Again, congratulations to Matt, the late night number 74 champion. He is this much closer to that trip to Japan. With that, on behalf of the Shuffle Squad and myself, Primetime Wizard TV, thank you for tuning in and have a good night.